Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila.
Accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite today's Bhagavad Gita Shloka. We are reciting Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 34. Does anyone need to go first? Then we'll just go in order. Achintade Prabhu.
Mataji, I need to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Mrityu sarva haraschaiham ubhavascha bhavishyatam kirtir sirvakcha narnyam smriti medha dhirachama. Translation. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mrityu sarva harashaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti sri vakcha narinam smritir medha dhritik kshama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. Mrityu sarva harashchaham
Mrityu sarva haraschaham
udbhavascha bhavishyatam
udbhavascha bhavisvatam
kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam
kirtihi srirvakcha narirnam
smritir medha dhriti kshama.
smritir medha dhritit shama. Translation. I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, is Inba here? No, right? So, Isha.
मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्ति श्रीवाक्च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, indulgence, steadfastness, and patience.
Krishnashish. Meanwhile, Madhava.
I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, indulgence, steadfastness, and patience.
Krishnashish ready?
Yes. Mrityu sarva harashaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kriti shrirvakcharanam smritir medha dhritikshama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, indulgence, steadfastness, and patience.
Rasapriya.
Mrityu sarva haraschaiham ubhavascha bhavishyatam kirtim srivakcha narinam smritir medha dhritikshama. I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, indulgence, steadfastness, and patience.
Lokesh.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavats Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai very much.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mrityu sarva haraschagam udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shri vakscha narinam smritir medha dhriti shama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Thank you, Mataji. Lokesh can go last.
Okay. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mrityuhu sarva harashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtihi shrirvakya narinam smritir meda driti kshama. I am all devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यतां कीर्तिः श्रीर्वाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा. I am all devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare
Thank you, Mataji. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Mrityu sarva harashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti srirvakcha narinam smritir medha driti kshama. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. I am all devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll also recite Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 34. Mrityu sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam smritir medha dhriti kshama. I am all devouring death and the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So those who did not recite can recite now. Yeah, Narsimalila Chaitan Prabhu, Suvarnani Mataji. Either one of you can start.
Dandavat Pranam Sandesh Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Mrityu sarva haraschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shri vakcha narinam smritir meda dhritakshama. Dhritikshama. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I am all devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Sarveshwara Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यतां कीर्ति श्रीर्वाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृति क्षमा. Translation. I am all devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. My kids are not here.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. So, Lokesh, are you ready? No?
Lokesh is not ready.
Okay, so we'll just begin. Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 7. We are reading about the descendants of King Mandata and King Mandata's son Ambarish. We read that. Then another son is Kurukutsa. And then his descendants. While reading his descendants, we came to Trishanku. Trishanku was actually named Satyavrata, but he became celebrated as Trishanku. So, why was Trishanku cursed to become a Chandala? Why was Trishanku cursed to become a Chandala? Please raise your hand. Raise your hand, please. Yes, Priyanka Ribemati.
Because Mataji, he kidnapped the bride, the daughter of the Brahmana who was getting married.
Yes, for that
So he was
reason
cursed by that Brahmana.
Correct, correct. That's why he was cursed. Okay. So then he became a Chandala. So this Trishanku was, even though he was in a Chandala body, that means even though he didn't have the credits, pious credits to go to Swarga, Vishwamitra Muni tried to send him to Swarga, but Lord Indra sent him back, and from the earth, Vishwamitra Muni, was holding him up. So as a result, he was stuck in between, and even to this day, he is hanging there in the middle. That's what we read in the verse. So yesterday, there was some question about Trishanku Swarga. So I found that in Ramayana. I'll just share it with you, what I found. We'll go to Ramayana. So if you see, it's here only, it's in Veda base. Actually, we have to go to some book. Go to the library, go to Ramayana. And there, if you see in the appendix, there is the history of Vishwamitra Muni. And in the history of Vishwamitra Muni, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but how he had a fight with Vashishta Muni, that is said. And then about Trishanku, right? We will read about Trishanku. Yeah. So Trishanku wanted to go to heaven, first of all. So he went to Vashishta Muni and he said, please, yeah. A king named Trishanku, a distant ancestor of Dasharath, appeared in the line of emperors who ruled from Ayodhya. King Trishanku desired to attain the heavens in his own bodily form. So it was Trishanku's desire that he should go to heaven. So he asked Vashishta to perform a sacrifice by which he can be transported to heaven in that body. Vashishta did not agree. Vashishta said, no man can attain heaven other than at the end of his life after the performance of pious activities. That's the only way he can go to heaven. So then, I'm not going to do this sacrifice for you. You cannot go to heaven in this present body. First of all, you should give up this sinful desire. So what did Trishanku do? Oh, Vashishta Muni is not doing it. Let me go to Vishwamitra Muni. Because he knows that Vishwamitra Muni and Vashishta are not in good terms. So if I go and speak to Vishwamitra Muni that Vashishta has refused to do this sacrifice, then he will take it up like that. So then he went and he asked Vishwamitra Muni, and Vishwamitra Muni agreed to do the sacrifice. So then we know the rest of the story. What happened when Lord Indra sent this Trishanku down? Immediately the king's downward progress was halted, right? And he remained situated in the sky. Seated amid many rishis, the great sage Vishwamitra became overwhelmed with anger at seeing Indra's refusal to allow Trishanku into heaven. So now Vishwamitra Muni became a victim of anger. He became angry at Lord Indra that he is not allowing Trishanku to go to heaven, and this yajna is performed by Vishwamitra Muni, and Lord Indra is not allowing. So he said, since this jealous god will not let the king attain the heavenly regions, I shall now create a second heaven by dint of my mystic power. Trishanku shall then live there in peace. So he actually created. He created another Swarga, a galaxy. From his mind, he manifested a galaxy consisting of 27 lunar mansions which appeared in the sky. And he then set about creating another hierarchy of gods, because heaven means there has to be the demigods in the heaven. So he started creating another set of demigods to inhabit those heavenly planets. But this is going to create a disturbance in the natural universal system. So Lord Indra and all the gods became shocked, what's going on? So they approached Vishwamitra Muni and they said, this king Trishanku, he does not deserve a place in heaven, O blessed sage. Rejected by his own guru, he now stands divested of all his pious merits. See, yasya prasada Bhagavad prasada, yasya aprasada nagati kutopi. If you displease your guru, you don't have any destination, no gati. This Trishanku has been rejected by his guru, so he lost all his whatever pious credits he may have had. He lost everything by displeasing his guru. So then Vishwamitra Muni said that, but I promised him that I am going to give him a heaven. If I don't give him, then my words will become false, right? So my promise has to be kept. So let this king enjoy heavenly bliss, and let all the mansions that I created, let them remain there. So out of respect for Vishwamitra Muni's request, Lord Indra said, okay, your planets will stay in heavens. They will stay in the southern quarter of the celestial sphere. So they will stay on one side, on the southern side of the celestial. Celestial means above this earth, right? So these planets will stay, this particular heaven with these lunar mansions, Trishanku Swarga, as he said. It will remain in the southern quarter of the celestial sphere. Trishanku shall remain in their midst, as happy as a god and shining brightly. All those stars will circumambulate him, even as all planets circle the pole star. So he will be in the middle, and all these uh, um, uh, stars will be circumambulating him like that, in that particular heaven created by Vishwamitra. So when Indra agreed, then Vishwamitra Muni became very pleased. Okay, but then after he finished the sacrifice, he was thinking that this king, Trishanku, is not a pious king. And simply because of my animosity toward Vashishta, I created heavens for this Trishanku. And now those heavens are in the southern quarter of the celestial region. And because he is not a pious king, he will only exert malefic influence. That means he will be a bad influence in that place. He doesn't have that the credits to live there. So now I should move this heaven to some other place. It cannot be with the other heaven, because he will only spoil by his bad influence. And then he also realized that how he lost all his powers in creating this Swarga for Trishanku, who was not even a pious person, pious king. And then Yeah, he's still trying to become a Brahmarshi. Again, he performs severe penance, so on and so forth. So the point is, Menaka came, then Ramba came, and all that, and finally he learned his lesson. You know, Lord Brahma said, "Yes, now you have become Brahmarshi," but Vashishta Muni was not saying. Vishwamitra Muni wanted to hear from Vashishta Muni that yes, you are a Brahmarshi now. So as I told you yesterday, finally Vishwamitra Muni, when Vishwamitra Muni got tears in his eyes, and he was very repentant, that's when Vashishta Muni said, please come, O Brahmarshi. He became Brahmarshi. So your point about Trishanku Swarga remaining, from according to what we read in Ramayana in the appendix, it is there. It is there. But Trishanku is still hanging. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Trishanku is still hanging in the middle. So it's not like he's actually enjoying or anything. He's still hanging there. It is said in Bhagavatam. So that is all the information I have.
That is the Srishanku Swarga.
Trishanku Swarga.
Thank you,
So
Mother.
now, sure. So now let us begin. We'll continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us see where we stopped yesterday. Well, yeah, I have to go to the bookmarks. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 7. So we finished reading about Trishanku as far as I remember. So further, who are the actually we even read about Harishchandra, remember? So we read about Trishanku, then after that we read Trishanku's son is Harishchandra. Because of Harishchandra, Vishwamitra Muni and Vashishta had a fight because Vishwamitra Muni performed a yagya for Harishchandra and he became angry for whatever reason, and then because he became angry with Harishchandra, he demanded all the assets that Harishchandra had, he demanded them as Dakshina, and Vashishta Muni opposed this. He said this is not correct, and then there was an argument between the two of them, and cursing each other. As a result, one became a bird, another became a duck. So the lesson to be learned from this whole incident is, however great a person may become in this material world, even up to the point of being a Brahmarshi, still he is not free from the material pangs. Only when one transcends the modes by taking to bhakti, that's when he will become free from the sufferings of material existence. Otherwise, Brahma Bhuvanar Loka Punaravartin Arjuna. Right? You can go wherever, all the way up to Brahma, still you have to come back to this world like that. If you don't take to bhakti, like that. So that was the lesson, and let's see if we read anything after that. So text 10. And I think who's supposed to read today? I think Spurti's family, everyone read, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So now next will be Neelambari Radha Mataji if she's here, and if she's not there, then Priyanka Haripriya. Okay, so we also read about Harishchandra. So yeah, the fight between Vishwamitra and that was okay. Now, this king Harishchandra did not have any children. He didn't have any sons. So Narad Muni instructed him to worship Varuna for a son, and King Harishchandra did that. And in order to please Varuna, he said that he would perform a sacrifice with his son for Varuna's satisfaction. Then Varuna agreed, okay, so be it. Then Harishchandra got a son called Rohita by the benediction given by Varuna. So text 10. Jata suto hyanenanga mam yajasveti sobravit yada pashur nirdashah syad atha medhyo bhaved iti. So, Priyanka Haripriya.
Thereafter, when the child was born, Varuna approached Harishchandra and said, "Now you have a son. With this son, you can offer me a sacrifice." In answer to this, Harishchandra said, "After 10 days have passed since an animal's birth, the animal becomes fit to be sacrificed."
So that is what it is. Harishchandra, Raja Harishchandra wanted a son, and for that he prayed to Varuna, the demigod, and he said, "When I get the son, I will sacrifice him to you." So I really, it's beyond my understanding, right? You want a son, and then when the son comes, you're going to sacrifice him.
In 10 days, that's too much.
No, not even 10 days. Actually, after he is born, I will sacrifice, he said. So Varuna said, okay. And then when the son was born, immediately Varuna said, okay, you said you will sacrifice. So then Harishchandra said, even in the case of an animal, when an animal is to be sacrificed, you have to wait at least 10 days after the birth. You don't sacrifice immediately. So this is my son. So I'll have to wait at least 10 days after his birth before I can sacrifice him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, when the child was born, Varuna approached Harishchandra and said, "Now you have a son. With this son, you can offer me a sacrifice." In answer to this, Harishchandra said, "After 10 days have passed since an animal's birth, the animal becomes fit to be sacrificed, not immediately after birth." निर्दशे च सस् आगत्य यजस्वेत्याह सोब्रवीत् दन्ताः पशोर्यजायेरन् अथ मेध्यो भवेदिति. So next, Saujanya Mataji is here. No, right? So Vindhyavali Mataji, your turn.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. After 10 days, Varuna came again and said to Harishchandra, "Now you can perform the sacrifice." Harishchandra replied, "When an animal grows teeth, then it becomes pure enough to be sacrificed." Hare Krishna.
So he's buying some more time.
Teeth also.
Yeah. So, I mean, first it is fit to be sacrificed after 10 days, that's right. But it's better to do it when it gets the teeth. Because when after the teeth come in, the animal is considered to be more pure. Right? It becomes pure enough to be sacrificed. Before the teeth come, it's not as pure. After the teeth come, then it becomes pure enough for sacrifice. So he's buying some more time. After 10 days also, not yet.
1 year, at least 1 year, close to 1 year. If you get
6 months, no? After 6 months, teeth start coming.
months to 1 year.
Yeah. Danta jata yajasveti sapratyahata sobravit yada patantyasa asya yada patantyasya danta atha medhyo bhavediti. So, Achintite Prabhu, Arunita, and Aditya Mataji. One of you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
When the truth grew, Varuna came and said to Harishchandra, "Now the animal has grown teeth, and you can perform the sacrifice." Harishchandra said, "When all its teeth have fallen out, then it will be fit for sacrifice."
So, you have what is called milk teeth, right? Baby teeth. Yeah. So, after all the baby teeth fall off, you get your permanent teeth. So, when the teeth came in,
That's a good
Varun
thing.
Dev came. Varun Dev came and said that, so now the teeth have come, so you can sacrifice him now. And he said, yeah, but after all the teeth fall off, then it is better. That's a good time to sacrifice. It's better than just when the baby teeth are there. When all its teeth are fallen out, then it is it will be fit for sacrifice. Yes. Swarnangi Mataji?
Mataji, is like, how did Varuna believe this reasons, Mataji? Was it like scriptural references, or how did
I'm sure.
Harishchandra give?
Yeah, I'm sure it
Okay.
must be scriptural reference. Yeah. Otherwise, it
Okay.
would
Thank
make
you.
sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next. पशोर्निपतिता दन्ता यजस्वेत्याह सोऽब्रवीत् यदा पशो पुनर्दन्ता जायन्ते था पशुः शुचिः. So next, Mataji, Aditilata Mataji, or
Yes, Mataji. When the teeth had fallen out, Varuna returned and said to Harishchandra, "Now the animal's teeth have fallen out, and you can perform the sacrifice." But Harishchandra replied, "When the animal's teeth grow in again, then he will be pure enough to be sacrificed."
okay. So the first reason was not after the baby teeth fall out and the permanent teeth come. First reason was when the baby teeth fall off, or maybe they begin to fall down. Maybe because they don't all come out at the same time, right? So maybe the first one falls off. I don't know. When the baby teeth fall off, then the animal is fit for sacrifice. Varun Dev came, then he said, after falling off, when the permanent teeth come in, then the animal is fit for sacrifice. Okay. So meanwhile, obviously he'll be getting attached to his son. So next. पुनर्जाता यजस्वेति सप्रत्याहाथ सोब्रवीत् सान्नाहिको यदा राजन् राजन्योता पशुः शुचिः. Prabhuji.
Mataji, he will read little later.
Okay. Isha.
When the teeth grew in again, Varuna came and said to Harishchandra, "Now you can perform the sacrifice." But Harishchandra then said, "O king, when the sacrificial animal becomes a kshatriya and is able to shield himself to fight with the enemy, then he will be purified."
He's still a baby, right? His teeth have come in, but he's still, he's not a full-fledged kshatriya yet. He has to be trained so that he's fit to fight the enemy in the battle. Such a full-fledged, fully grown, fully trained kshatriya, he would make a good animal for sacrifice.
Grown-up boy.
Yeah, yeah. So the king said, "O king, when the sacrificial animal becomes a kshatriya and is able to shield himself to fight with the enemy, then he will be purified for sacrifice." इति पुत्रानुरागेण स्नेहयन्त्रितचेतसा कालं वञ्चयता तं तम् उक्तो देवस्तम् ऐक्षता. Krishnashish.
Harishchandra was certainly very much attached to his son. Because of his affection, he asked the demigod Varuna to wait. Thus Varuna waited and waited for the time to come.
Yes. So obviously, right? He didn't have any sons, and then finally he gets one baby, one son. Obviously, he's going to be so attached. So he just, out of his attachment and affection for his son, he just kept postponing it. And Varuna simply waited, okay, okay. And every time, whatever time he gave, he came, Harishchandra gave, Varuna came back and said, okay, so I gave you the time, and still, and then now you can sacrifice. And every time he would say, later, later, later. And Varuna is still waiting. Okay, he's waiting. Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji.
But that is surprise. How come Varuna didn't know that if he postpones like that, he will be attached to his son?
Of
See,
course
he is
he
a
knew that.
Africa.
Yeah.
He should
He
know
would
that.
know it. He would know it, of course. So yeah.
That is surprising. See,
It's
he's
not
giving
that
more,
he didn't know, but he went along. It looks like he went along.
he's
And
giving
as
more time to him
He's not giving, he's asking, and he's giving some reasons.
Harishchandra is buying some time. So how come Varun doesn't know? Varuna doesn't know that he's also demigod and he needs to know some.
Yeah, he didn't refuse it outright that I'm sorry, please don't ask me for the son. But he said, okay, I'll give, just like, you borrow some money from someone and you say, I really don't have, maybe I'll give you after 1 week later, I'll give. And then the person says, okay, and then come back after 1 week. There was some emergency at home and I really don't have, give me one more, like that. And the person wanted, okay, I'll come back, like that.
So Varuna has more patience, I think. He has
Yeah.
lot.
Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, that is why demigod worship is bad. It's said, even like when Lord Brahma gave blessing to Hiranyakashipu, so everything comes to an end, whatever demigods give. Whereas Krishna gives whenever he gives, and he decides which is permanent and which is good for that person. Yeah.
Actually,
but Varuna had patience. Varuna had patience.
He had patience.
That is a good thing to know, but because he's just postponing, but he's not saying no. He's waiting till he became a good full-fledged Kshatriya.
Yeah.
So that is something not like other demigods he's saying.
Yeah. And Suvarnangi Mataji is saying maybe Narad Muni has a plan for Harishchandra. We cannot overlook that. Narad Muni suggesting means there must be some spiritual connection there. Yeah, the Lord must be involved.
But just we are discussing this, Harishchandra and Varun. That's what made me think. How come he has very good patience and he's waiting. Yeah. And he should have been known that, when he's becoming full-fledged Kshatriya and his only son, he wanted that son and he had the son. So he should be, he must be attached to that son.
Of course he knew that. Yeah. If we are able to see that, certainly Varuna could see that also. So let's read text 16. Rohitastad abhigyaya pituh karma chikirshitam pranaprepsur dhanushpat panir aranyam pratyapadyata. So Madhava read? No, right? Go ahead, Madhava.
Rohita could understand that his father intended to offer him as the animal for sacrifice. Therefore, after saving himself from death, he equipped himself with bow and arrows and went into the forest.
So, meanwhile, as King Harishchandra is buying time from Varun Dev, Rohita is grown up, he is trained as a Kshatriya, and he understood that, oh, my father is going to sacrifice me like an animal to Varun Dev. So, in order to protect himself, he took his weapons and entered into the forest. He didn't stay at home. Because if he's at home, his father will sacrifice him. So, he went into the forest.
He got knowledge.
Yeah. So then he equipped himself with bow and arrows, went into the forest. Itaram varunagrastam shrutva jatamahodaram rohito gramameyaya tam indraha pratyashedhata.
When Rohita heard that his father had been attacked by dropsy due to Varuna, and that his abdomen had grown very large, he wanted to return to the capital. But King Indra forbade him to do so.
So now Rohita left home because he didn't want to be sacrificed. And Varunadev, after waiting all these years practically for Rohita to be sacrificed, and now Rohita just goes away, that means Harishchandra has not kept his word. Harishchandra said he would offer the son in a sacrifice, and now the son went away to protect himself. So therefore, because of Varun Dev, his curse or something, Harishchandra became sick. He suffered from dropsy and his stomach enlarged. He got a disease. And when Rohita found out about this, he wanted to go back for his father so that the father can be saved. But Indra said, no, you should not go back. Why did Indra say that? Let's see. You shouldn't go back now. भूमेः पर्यटनं पुण्यं तीर्थक्षेत्रनिषेवणैः रोहितायादिशच्छक्रः सोऽप्यरण्ये वसत्समाम्. Sonia Mataji.
King Indra advised Rohita to travel to different pilgrimage sites and holy places, for such activities are pious indeed. Following this instruction, Rohita went to the forest for 1 year.
Yes. Went to the forest. So, so previously also he was in forest only, but he went on pilgrimage, right? Because he wanted to go back home for his father, and Indra advised him, no, this is not the time to just go back, it won't help. Rather, you go on pilgrimage to all holy places. So, why? When you go to holy places, you actually get pious credits. You will accumulate pious credits. So, you go on pilgrimage. So, for 1 year, Rohita went traveling on pilgrimage.
Mataji, surprise. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Surprisingly, how come Indra advised him?
Yeah, that's also, we'll have to read further to see why. Narad Muni first of all told Harishchandra to worship in Varuna. Then Indra is forbidding Rohita from going home. So we'll have to find out. As we read, we'll find out. एवं द्वितीये तृतीये चतुर्थे पंचमे तथा अभ्येत्याभ्येत्य स्थविरो विप्रो भूत्वा वृत्रः. लोकेश.
This way, at the end of the second, third, fourth, fifth years, when Rohita wanted to return to his capital, the king of heaven approached him as an old Brahmana and forbade him to return, repeating the same words as in the previous year.
So, when Rohita heard about his father's illness, he wanted to come back. So, Indra said, no, you go on pilgrimage for 1 year. So, after going on pilgrimage for 1 year, when he wanted to go back home, again Indra appeared in the form of an old man and said, no, this is not the right time to go. Go on pilgrimage for 1 more year. So, again he went for another year, second year, and when he wanted to go home, again Indra appeared as an old person and said, no, this is not a good time, go on pilgrimage. In this way, each year after Rohita completed his travels, his pilgrimage for 1 year, then Indra would tell him to go back on pilgrimage again. So in this way, he passed how many years? 5 years. Going on pilgrimage for 1 full year and again starting all over again, the second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. Like this for 5 years, he went on pilgrimage. Because at the end of each year, Indra in the form of this old Brahmana forbade him repeating the same words as in the previous year. What was that? That you should go on pilgrimage. And you should accumulate pious credits. षष्ठं संवत्सरं तत्र चरित्वा रोहितः पुरीम् उपव्रजन् अजिगर्ताद् अक्रीणान् मध्यमं सुतं शुनः शेफं पशुं पित्रे प्रदाया समवन्दता. So Mataji, Prabhuji are there, Lokesh?
No, Mother.
Okay. So next is Usha Mataji and Medha are here? No. So Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu and Suraj Purti Sonam Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thereafter, in the 6th year, after wandering in the forest, Rohita returned to the capital of his father. He purchased from
Ajigartha.
Ajigartha his second son named
Shunashepa.
Shepa. Then he offered Shepa to his father. Harishchandra be used as a sacrificial animal and offer Harishchandra's respectful obeisances.
Okay, so you read the purport also, Suhrid, and then I will explain.
It appears that in those days a man could be purchased for any reason. Harishchandra was in need of a person to sacrifice as an animal in a yagna, and thus fulfilled his promise to Varuna, and a man was purchased from another man for this purpose. Millions of years ago, animal sacrifice and slave trade both existed. Indeed, they had existed since time of immemorial.
Yes. So what happened when Rohita returned after going on pilgrimage for 5 years? In the 6th year, he came home for his father. And when he returned, Rohita purchased. Not Rohita. Rohita returned. So it is saying his second son. So this is Rohita's, Ajigartha's second son. Okay. So Rohita purchased a man called Shunashepa. Shunashepa was the second son of Ajigartha. So he paid money, gold coins or something, for the son of Ajigartha. He purchased him. Why? So that Shunashepa could be offered in the sacrifice to Varuna in place of Rohita, so that Harishchandra could be relieved from the wrath of Varuna. So Rohita offered Shunashepa to his father Harishchandra to be used as a sacrificial animal, and offered Harishchandra his respectful obeisances. So this is what happened. Harishchandra was supposed to offer Rohita in sacrifice and to Varuna. So what did Rohita do? He found a replacement. He got another person. He paid Ajigartha for his second son, and then he offered Shunashepa to be sacrificed to Varuna. And Srila Prabhupada is saying this buying and selling of slaves and also sacrificing animals, and in this case even a human, in yagyas, this existed. And it has been in existence since time immemorial. Srila Prabhupada is bringing this point.
Mataji, one thing I just would like to know. Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji.
See, Harishchandra is supposed to be, he's very Satya Harishchandra. How could he buy a son? Though slavery is there, but he bought a son to be sacrificed.
No. Harishchandra didn't buy a son. Rohita bought the son of a person.
Yeah.
So Ajigartha was the father. Father sold his son to someone.
Yeah,
someone
but Rohita also
purchased.
Yeah, that is also not the good thing, Rohita knows Rohita is supposed to be sacrificed. Is that right?
Yes.
And then instead of him, he bought and somebody's son. So yes. That is what is he learned from that, from Harishchandra. See, actually we say all the time, we all learn from childhood, Harishchandra, oh, he's Satya Harishchandra. So Harishchandra never went back to word or something we used to listen, we used to hear. But here it goes other way. Then how did he buy his son, that kind of son? He purchased another
Well, for
son.
his father only he is doing.
That's
Of
right, but
course.
the son, bringing up son. Harishchandra brought up his son like that. That is not correct, is that? Is that right, Mataji?
It can be answered in different ways. I don't know exactly why he did it, but one thing is, it is said that you can sacrifice one member of the family to protect the whole family, or you can sacrifice one family in order to protect a whole village. Like that, this is a king. Rohita is the next king. Harishchandra is the king, and his son will be the next king. King is going to rule the whole kingdom and protect so many people in the kingdom. So, in that sense, the life of a king is more valuable for the society than the life of a slave. Like sacrificing, again, the same thing. This was said by Chanakya Pandit. It's okay to sacrifice one person in the family in order to save the whole family. Or it is okay to sacrifice one whole family in order to save the whole village. That is Chanakya Niti. So, uh, from that, now, because they're all trained, as Harishchandra is a Rajarshi, we know that. Uh, so, if he has allowed that, means this is the only reason I'm able to see. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but this is one explanation that I'm able to see. Yeah. Of course, it may appear selfish, being selfish or something, but really we have to see the bigger picture. Sometimes you may have to sacrifice your own life for the sake of the whole kingdom. There it is seen as a great sacrifice. But at other times, which is more difficult because you'll be seen as a bad person, you may have to sacrifice another person for the sake of the whole kingdom. So, uh, as Krishna said, karma, laws of karma are very, very intricate. It is hard to understand. Text 21. ततः पुरुषमेधेन हरिश्चन्द्रो महायशाः मुक्तोदरो यजद्देवान् वरुणादीन् महत्कथः. Next is who?
Mataji, yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation. Thereafter, the famous king Harishchandra, one of the exalted persons in history, performed grand sacrifices by sacrificing a man and pleased all the demigods. In this way, his dropsy created by Varuna was cured.
Yeah. So, the famous king Harishchandra, one of the exalted persons in history, performed grand sacrifices by sacrificing a man and pleased all the demigods. So that is why in the purport Srila Prabhupada said, sacrificing, animal sacrifice has been in existence since time immemorial. So anything which is given in the scriptures and the Vedas cannot be questioned. It cannot be questioned. Once there was in some morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, one person, seemingly a supporter of the Hare Krishna movement, was trying to prove that the Vedas never support, because we don't eat, right? We say no meat eating. Then, if you say the Vedas are allowing animal sacrifice, then that may look contradictory. So, trying to adjust the situation, he was making statements like the Vedas never allow animal sacrifice. No, this is not right, like that. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, Vedas allow animal sacrifice. But under what circumstances, so on and so forth. There are many conditions there. So, even if you find sometimes apparently they appear to be contradictory statements to my material mind, we should accept the statements of the scriptures as it is. Veda means it's like lines, words etched in stone, like that. It cannot be changed, and it is true. Another example, very famous example: animal stool is impure, cow dung is very pure. It purifies even impure things. Apparently contradictory statement, because animal stool is impure, cow is an animal because it has 4 legs and horns and hooves like other animals, and cow stool should also be impure. But no, cow stool is not impure. Who said this? This is a Vedic statement. Then you have to accept it, no question. Now, if you want to prove that the Vedic statement is true, now you can do some experiment. To prove the Vedic statement, you can do some experiment. So, for example, cow stool, cow dung, you do some testing and you'll find out that it is antiseptic. You can even eat cow dung. It cures all your diseases. You spread cow dung on the floor, you won't get any, you'll be free from all, the whole house is purified. So Vedic statements must be accepted as axiomatic. They are ultimate truth. You cannot change them. So similarly, uh, animal sacrifice is allowed. But who performs animal sacrifices? What are the conditions? Why they are recommended? So all these things again you have to understand properly in context. But animal sacrifice is allowed. And in this case, the animal happened to be a human being. That is also allowed. And the demigods were very satisfied when this sacrifice was performed. Shurashepa, the son of, what's his name? Ajagartha, was offered in sacrifice. And the demigods were very pleased. Why? Because Harishchandra kept his word of, offering a sacrifice to Varuna. So you may say, oh, but this is not, he promised to give his son, but he didn't offer his son. Yeah. So now again, why Indra told him to go on pilgrimage, that question also comes, right? Because to accumulate enough pious credits. So yeah, I don't know, I don't want to speculate here the reasons, but just I'm trying to show you different dots and connections which can kind of make sense, right? So he accumulated enough pious credits in those 5 years, and then he's the one who went and bought a slave, and then he offered that slave to his father, offering him respectful obeisances and saying, you can offer him to Lord Varuna in my place. And with very, in a grand way, Raja Harishchandra performed the sacrifice. Not just Varuna, but all the demigods were very pleased. Harishchandra was not an ordinary king. He was a very famous king. Even in the demigods would be talking about Harishchandra's great qualities. So when he offered the sacrifice, the demigods were very pleased, and Varuna also withdrew the dropsy which he had created, like that. So the Harishchandra, why we are reading about Harishchandra? Because he is a descendant of Ikshvaku Maharaj. Ikshvaku Maharaj coming down to Mandhata, and from Mandhata, his son, Purukutsa, second son, Purukutsa, and his descendant is Trishanku, and Trishanku's son is Harishchandra. That's how we read about, and now Harishchandra's son is Rohita. We're reading the descendants of Ikshvaku. Okay, so maybe we can. Did Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu read? No, right? So Prabhuji also read, and then we
No.
can stop here. Yeah. Text 22. Vishwamitro bhavattasmin hota chadvaryuratmavan jamadagnir abhut brahma vashishto yasya samagaha.
Translation. In that great human sacrifice, Vishwamitra was the chief priest to offer oblations. The perfectly self-realized Jamadagni had the responsibility for chanting the mantras from the Yajurveda. Vashishta was the chief Brahmanical priest, and the sage Ayashya was the reciter of the Hyman of the Samaveda. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So this is that great sacrifice. This is that great sacrifice, in which Vishwamitra Muni was also the priest, and Vashishta is also there, Jamadagni, and Ayasya. You see, in a yagya, there are 4 sides, right? 4 sides in a yagya kund, that pit. So, actually, when a yagya is performed, there will be 4 priests. They are called Brahma, Hota, Advaryu, and one more, Ritvik. So 4 priests are there. So, and what is the role of each of the priests? Each one is expert in reciting the mantras from one of the 4 Vedas. Of course, there are 5 Vedas. The 5th one is Purana and Itihasa, but the 4, Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva Vedas. So each of these priests is expert in reciting all the hymns from one of the 4 Vedas. So one of them will be reciting from Rig Veda, the other one will be reciting from Sama Veda, like that. So who were the 4 priests that were performing this human sacrifice to please Varuna? Vishwamitra Muni was the chief priest who was offering oblations. Jamadagni was chanting the mantras from Yajurveda. Vashishta was the chief Brahminical priest. So Vishwamitra Muni was putting oblations, and Vashishta was the chief Brahminical priest. And Ayasya was reciting hymns of the Samaveda. So the rest we will read from tomorrow, although I am feeling quite inquisitive, curious to see what happens in this, but we will hold it for tomorrow. And tomorrow, and so Priyanka Haripriya Mataji will begin reading tomorrow. And let's read a little bit of Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada Leela. We are reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is introduction, continuation. So we are reading about the 5 subjects that are given in Bhagavad Gita: Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Kala, Karma. Okay? So now, what is material nature? So about Ishvara, we read he is the controller, right? Anything you see in this world, you see nothing is happening automatically, even though it appears automatic to the ignorant. Actually, there is a driver behind. That is Ishvara, that is the controller. Next, Prakriti. What is material nature? This is also explained in the Gita as inferior Prakriti, inferior nature. So Prakriti is, again, you have inferior Prakriti, and you have the internal energy or superior Prakriti. So material nature means it is the inferior Prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as the superior Prakriti. अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्. So there, bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. Bhinna prakriti means separated energy. This is the inferior material energy consisting of bhumi, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. This is the material nature or inferior nature. Superior to this is the Jiva Bhuta, right? The living entities who are actually Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. They are the ones who are holding up this Jagat. That means, what is the purpose of this whole universe? To facilitate the living entities, isn't it? So the living entity is explained as the superior Prakriti. Why it is superior? Because it is conscious. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord, just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is the predominator. Prakriti is predominated, the Lord is predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, all the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are to be considered Prakriti. Right? Just because we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord is a predominator, so being his parts, we are also predominators? No. We are actually Prakriti. That means we are predominated. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior Prakriti, but beyond this is another Prakriti. Prakriti means what? That which is controlled, that which is predominated. So beyond this material inferior nature is another Prakriti, jiva bhutam, the living entity. I'll stop Srimad Bhagavad Gita reading here and read Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita. Because we are spending more time on Bhagavatam, we get less time for Bhagavad Gita. Because we have limited time. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Continuation. So what did we read yesterday? Yeah. How Srila Prabhupada would wash his clothes with his hand, and yeah, just Sally Agarwal is sharing. Prabhupada would cook for everyone, like that. Okay, we'll continue. Sally. Our boy Bridge was 6 or 7 months old when Swami came, 6 months old. And the Indians love boys. The Swami liked Bridge. He was there when Bridge first stood. The first time Bridge made the attempt and actually succeeded, the Swami stood up and clapped. It was a celebration. Another time, our baby teethed on the Swami's shoes, chewing. I thought, oh, those shoes, they've been all over India, and my kid is chewing on them. You know how a mother would feel. Actually, fortunate boy, he chewed on Prabhupada's shoes. Almost every night he used to sit in the next door neighbor's backyard. We sat out there sometimes with him, or we stayed in the living room. One time something happened with our little girl Pamela, who was only 3 years old. I used to take her to Sunday school, and she learned about Jesus in Sunday school. Then when she would see Swamiji with his robes on and everything, she called him Swami Jesus. And this one time, when it first dawned on us what she was saying, she called him Swami Jesus. And Swami smiled and said, and a little child shall lead them. It was so funny. Prabhupada spoke to various groups in the community. He spoke at the Lions Club in early October, like right now. Well, we are in mid-October. He spoke at the Lions Club in early October and received a formal document. Be it known that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami was a guest at the Lions Club of Butler, PA, and as an expression of appreciation for services rendered, the club tenders this acknowledgement. He also gave a talk at the Y means YMCA, and at St. Fidelis Seminary College in Herman, Pennsylvania. And he spoke regularly to guests at the Agarwal home. That means Srila Prabhupada was constantly spreading Krishna consciousness, speaking to people, preaching. So, thank you, dear devotees. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. I will see you.